Hey guys, this is Kirob speaking, and today we are back in automation with our little mini-series that is coming to an end, and that is building a race car out of the homologation car for the BRC 1970 24-hour race at the Nürburgring, and that will be quite fancy. In the last episode we did build the Flechette ST, this small touring, instead of the GT, the Grand Touring, and I think this is a fantastic car, at least under the hood, because the surface of it is not a looker, but we shall see. So we're going in here, and now let's take a look. Let's take another look at what its performance data says. Because this is the last time we're going to see it like this. So it's performing well in the desired demographics, not in Gasmere, but in Florinia. It's outperforming everything. There you have it. And also a test track, of course. We can go to the Nürburgring 24 hours 1970 and give it a quick haul. And there we go. It is roaring off the line, not so much, because the first gear is very low. And it is a 948.94 on sports tires, getting up to a 1.12 Gs in the corners. That is beautiful. And just about, 800 grams below the maximum downforce that is allowed. Now, today, we're going to clone this one and create the race car version of it. And I'm going to get through the rules and see what we need to do here. So let's take a quick look. In Group 3, this should be pretty easy, because we're basically not allowed to change anything if we want to remain in Group 3. The car trim and the engine trim variant are supposed to be 1970, which they already are. Then we are allowed to change only fuel mixture and ignition timing. Yes, only fuel mixture and ignition timing. Nothing else. Yeah, that's it. Okay, for the engine. Very simple. Very simple. What we are allowed to change, however, is on the car, we are allowed to switch to the tire type and the diameter, and size and diameter, actually. Rim size and tire diameter. Okay, yes. Tire width. Are we allowed to change that? I believe we are. Oh yeah, it says it right there. Tire compound and width. Okay, yes. So we are allowed to change everything about the tires. Well, not the rim material, I guess, but that's fine. That's fine. We are on the correct one already. We do have the allowance in brake pad slider, and the aerodynamic sliders are allowed too. Suspension sliders are all fine, and safety weight is allowed to be changed as well for weight adjustments. And beyond that, nothing. Nothing. Okay, sounds good. Quality sliders, no changes. Alright, cool. Basically, we are not allowed to change anything, which is great, because that makes my life a lot easier. Now, that means we need to find the lightest setup possible, and that would mean that we are going to go here and pull that down to... No, wait a second, this is the wrong car. We haven't cloned it yet, so let's back that up. So we're heading back to the manager, select the car, and now we are cloning it. And that is trim and variant. Yeah, that is correct. We do want to have a new variant of that engine. We're not allowed to change anything else anyway, only ignition timing and the fuel mixture. So that should be fine. Let's go into the clone, do some renaming action. So the only change needed here is to change it from H to R, and I've also added a small touring race, small race touring. Yeah, small race touring it is, not small touring. So let's add the I can't type. SRT, yes, that's fine. And here we have another clone. SRT, perfect. That's consistent. And now, let's have a look at the changes. Engine variant. Do we even want to change the mixture and timing? Because that is pretty much optimal for now. So I believe the answer is no to that. My plan here is to have this enter like it is into the practice session and get all the data from it, fuel consumption and tire wear and so on, and then make some decisions if that needs to change or not. So that is all good. Let's go forwards. The lighting in here is a little dull, so the color doesn't come out as much. I did add since the last episode just the before I also submitted. Here at the back was really empty. And what more did I do? I don't know. I forgot. That doesn't matter. Oh yeah, I changed the trim color here a little bit. Yeah. Not much there, but what are we going to do for this? We're not allowed to change anything here, but the gearing is spot on anyway, so doesn't matter. Tires were the big thing. So let's see. Oh, and the really big thing is not the suspension killer, Rob. Don't kill it. Here we go. This is the big thing. Safety none. Oh, wait a second. Are we allowed to change safety option? I don't think so. Let's have another look. No, you're not allowed to change that, but the quality slider is explicitly named as something that you're allowed to change. So that's good. Come on, finish calculating. Yeah, that is something that needs to be changed. We're still way above the minimum weight, so that's fine. And let's switch over to semi-slicks. And we are allowed to change tire size, as we mentioned already. Holy shit, this is going to really haul some ass. That would be fantastic if we could use that. What is the tire size we're allowed to have? 215 in the rear is allowed, yes. That's all good. That means... do we need to change anything else here? If we can turn this one around with some settings here, this one will just be absolutely superb. How about making the front a little stiffer still? That would work. Or rather... come on, turn it around already. Can you? Oh, damn it. Oh, 16, yeah. 116, that is a lot. But I don't like the camber settings here. That's too much. That will just wear through the tires really quick. On the aerodynamics, we were allowed to change the wing angles, but as you can see, that already looks pretty much spot on, and we are still within the limits. 28, and yeah, this is a little bit closer than before. Cool. That means that we now have a proper setup race car, supposedly. 143 horsepower. And what does the Trestex? Oh, holy shit. 1.16G in the small corner and 1.22 in the large. Let's test it around the automation test track real quick. See what time we get. That should be rather impressive. The power to weight ratio is abysmal, of course, but that's a 1.8 litre naturally aspirated engine from the 70s. We get a 224. So now let's check it out on the track that actually matters. There we're off. And we do get... wow, okay, that is fast. That is proper fast. A 935. 935. Hell yeah. Okay. That's 23 seconds, was it? 23 seconds faster than our more normal car. Oh yeah, I found more performance. Increase ignition timing by 1. Our other car is not optimized at all. Look at that. We got another 0.3 horsepower out of this. So that's looking pretty nifty. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to change anything. I could go with a leaner trim. Let's see where we end up. How much do we have to reduce this? Oh, this is not really an option, is it? There we go. Okay. How much more do we have? A few more steps. So there we have that, but that doesn't change much, so it's not really that great. Yeah, going to leave it there. Seems alright. Exhaust size, not even that is allowed to change, which is, well, I welcome that. But I think we are pretty much done here, apart from the design, which is what it is. We need some race livery on this as well, somehow. So this is our first race car candidate. What I don't like about it is this. This is just not that great. It is fast though, but it will go through tires like crazy. So I think what I do want to do is to reduce the front tire size by 1 step. And now I can come down with that a lot. And we should see... Come on. Yeah, we are getting up there again. Let's keep an eye on this. This is looking nice. And that is also looking nice. It's getting horny. Yes, horny. And checking our data. Ooh, yeah, quite a bit worse. We lost 0.02 Gs in the corners, but tire wear is so much superior right now. That is just so much better. I think that's worth it. Also, having some camber on the rear there is not that detrimental because that will wear down the rear tires in acceleration and stuff. But we do have plenty of grip reserves for acceleration. Of course, that is in the dry, perfect conditions. But what I'm more worried about in the long term is the front tires. And they are doing just fine. It's basically no camber. How much slower is the car like this? I would think something like 3-ish, 4 seconds slower, maybe. Let's see. And there we're off. And oh, okay. That is only 2.5 seconds slower. Definitely acceptable considering the tire wear will be a lot lower. Yeah, I think that's the way to go there. We could also try to run sports tires. And while that sounds a little weird, I think that might be a good way of going about it, because you can run those forever. And tire changes do take a long time. What was it, 2 minutes? Something like this? Or 100 seconds? And that takes some time to get back on track. So yes, normal pit stops also don't take that long if you just want to refuel. So I'm not sure though. That is something that will come out of practice as well. All right, so this is a viable car, viable setup for slick tires or semi-slicks. And now let's clone this one and set one up again for simply sports cars tires. And probably the best thing to do there is, yeah, just clone this one and do a new setup and just go from scratch, see if we can find something better than we had before. SRT2. It's still the same engine. That's all good. And now let's switch out that to sports car tires. They do need... they have a problem with way less grip up front there, or rather less grip at the rear. Oh, this is terrible. What's even going on here? Ooh. Well, we should be able to pull that one in. Cornering 1.09. That's not too bad. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting behavior. This is terminal oversteer, of course, which we don't like. But we might be able to fix this with a little oh, yeah, no, wheels. Wheels we are allowed to change. So, rim offsets, of course, we are allowed to change as well then. If all the sizes are allowed to change. Let's see, compound and width. Rim size, tire diameter. Are we allowed to change the hub size? If it's not mentioned, then we are not. Ah, rim offset. Rim offset is mentioned here as no. You're not allowed to change that. So, no, we are not allowed to change this. But these are some good values. 1.09 and 1.13. Of course, nothing compared to the 1.20 or 1.22, which we had on slick tires, of proper setup. But still, that is decent. I don't like the terminal oversteer here. How could we change this? We do have a... now, we could increase this by a little. Nah, this already makes it worse. There's some kind of weird point here where it's getting the best data out of it. Let's see. So, switch track again and calculate. So, what are you running? Oof, okay, that's quite a bit slower. So, here we are. Well, it's good time. Not quite as good as what we had previously. Oh, no, wait a sec. Why is this so slow in comparison to what we had before? Because we've already run that time with our much heavier version of this car. So there's some kind of shit going on here. Or I've messed up the other one. But no, I don't think so. So, yeah, it might be this one. So let's get this one sorted. Oh, wrong direction. Let's get this one sorted. There. And run again. Ah, there you go. Yes, much better. Don't trust those supposedly better numbers. Sometimes you just need to accept that, well, you do want to have terminal understeer and not oversteer. That is looking a lot better. So 943. That's just a few seconds off the pace. I've just made another variant of this. Quite a bit more extreme. More front. That's probably not great, actually. Front stiffness, less in the rear. Of course, it gives you slightly more grip in the rear and turns that corner for the steering behavior. And now we're a little bit higher than before. Yeah, this is looking quite nice. Let's see if we beat the 943. Oh, yeah, nice. 942. But how much are we sacrificing on those tires? 1.8. Yeah, that's not that great. But it's on the rear where we can have a little bit more wear. And these are sports tires after all. 215s, 150. Yeah. I have plenty of grip reserves. And we are not in this range that often. 74 kilometers an hour and upwards is more where we are. So there are plenty of reserves, unless it's raining. Yeah, that didn't help that much. Another little optimization. Didn't do much. Okay. 942.32. Yes, that is basically where we are stuck with this one. So this is on sports tires. And they are... the wear should be very much limited. I don't see that being much of a problem. Yeah, that's the lowest we can get with this one. So now let's compare, or let's take some notes rather, and then compare. Alright, So, comparison time. It is a difference of 4.7 seconds between the sports tires and the slick tires with this setup. The slick tires are set up to be even more lenient than the sports tires, but of course they are semi-slicks, so they are going to wear a little quicker. We have not done any magic here yet for the springs and whatnot, so if we are doing that, maybe the time is improving a lot because this was like on the limit or something. These numbers are decreasing, but we shall see. Let's give that another go. Oh, nice. Okay, that's another second off, which means that the difference now has become 5.8 seconds. What I'm expecting to happen is that after talking to Martin and him giving me some very rough figures for what is going to go on, is that like lean-ish running cars, which I would consider our car to be one of, they will be able to get around 7 to 8 laps maybe, and then they would have a fuel stop. That's a stint. And then every second stint they have to change tires if they're on sports tires. So maybe how many laps would you be able to go with slick tires? Maybe 10ish? Maybe a little bit more? While sports tires should last for the full 2 stints, so it's just fuel tank limitation really. And let's do a quick calculation here. Okay, interesting, yes. So let's assume the following. Let's assume that we can do 2 5-lap stints on the slick tires. And yeah, you would put the refuel in the middle so that you're running as light as possible. You would run a little lighter. So that means then on the sports tires, which means that the time differential would be slightly larger still. Or maybe, let's say 6.5 seconds, maybe? Because we were at 5.8. Okay, so every 10 laps then, you would have to have one pit stop where you change tires, which takes around 120 seconds. So on 10 laps, we have to split 120 seconds. So that's 12 seconds per lap worth of tire change time. The fuel costs, of course, would be about-ish the same in time, that is. And then versus the sports tires, let's assume that they last for 2 times 8 laps. And then you have to switch them out. That would net them a per lap time of 7.5 seconds. Cool. That means that there is a difference of 4.5 seconds per lap that the slick tires need to be faster. But as we just discovered, they are, in this rough calculation, then about 2 seconds faster than the sports tires. If my calculations are have any weight to them, that is. So it seems like running on the slick tires might be the better option like that. But there is one more aspect we need to consider. And that aspect is the drivability to sportiness ratio. Because for the sports tires, that is significantly better, which means less driver errors. And that means, if I calculate it right, 0.72 is the ratio for sports tires, and for slick tires, or semi-slicks rather, it is 0.61. That is a 20-ish% difference. Well, not quite, 18% to be exact. So that means roughly 18% less driver errors on the sports tires, which will bring down the gap again, which will shrink the gap between those performances. By how much though? that is a difficult question. Oh, one thing that we have not considered in this calculation is that when we are running the slick tires, there's of course a time that it takes to get to the pit stop, through the pit lane, and out again. And that is not calculated in here. So I think this might just be about break even between those two options. It's so hard to tell. But anyway, I think what we're going to do here is to stop it there with the calculations and considerations, and take what we have, which is a 9:36.54 for the slick tires, and try to run with that and see what the outcome is in the practice session. I don't know how that is going to be structured yet. If we can do two runs, like with one with sports tires, one with slick tires or something, or if we're stuck with them then, I will have to read up on that again. But I think this is a good option. This is a very good option. It is a little riskier because higher chance of driver errors, and in the wet, that might be a little risky to be on the semi-slicks. Maybe the sports tires there are behaving themselves a little better. And with that, I think this is today's episode. The very last episode will be to take a look at this one with maybe the livery on, or I don't know. There's not much more to do. So I think you are going to see this car with race livery on in the actual race. It won't look that much better. Or maybe that does the trick. I don't know. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this little mini-series and the considerations I put on the table here. And I just thought about the putting of onto the table of the massive dick that is Max Van Dick. But no, that's not what we are doing here. And you know what? I just finished it off. Well, it's a new day and everything, but I took the time to put some sponsors on, some race numbers, and did I make this as well? I don't know. I think I forgot before. Anyway, so this is our race car. It's not spectacular, but I think it's at least somewhat passable, and I'm happy with that. Probably, although that may jinx it, probably needs a tow hook here as well. Although you don't want to have this kind of hook there. This is not really what I was looking for. Just a hook, not a massive globe. We can paint the world on there. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it as is. And 75 on the roof as well, yes. This always takes some time to make because you can't mirror them, because then it's all wrong. They have to manually put them on both sides and make sure that they are somewhat equally spaced and such. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with this. This is the version that I'm going to submit, and that has our semi-slick tires because it's just so much faster. One more consideration I had, which I forgot to talk about yesterday for you just a few minutes ago, is that if we are doing, in our hypothetical scenario, 10 laps before switching tires versus 16, and we assume a 20-second pit lane time, then that means that we have 2.4 seconds per lap extra because we have 2 pit stops per stint, per tire change, let's say. And so 40 seconds. If we are on the semi-slicks, that means that we have 60% more time in pit lane without considering the time where we stand still, because we've already considered that. So that is 2.4 seconds per lap that we have to be faster in order to make that count. So it's very much on the border of what is better, sports tires versus semi-slicks. Yeah, it's very close. So currently I'm probably thinking sports tires, but I'm going to submit this one because it's nice and fast, and then see how long this lasts. Maybe we can squeeze out a few more laps. I'm going to base my calculations on this one. And alright, now, finally, I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.